we will launch more spacecraft in the next few years than we've launched in all of humanity's history. So my name is Eric Ingram. I am the founder and CEO of Scout. We are a space company developing next generation in-space sensing technology. So space is very crowded, and over the next decade, the number of spacecraft that are going to be launched will increase 40x in terms of how many things we have on orbit. We will launch more spacecraft in the next few years than we've launched in all of humanity's history. The way we currently track spacecraft using ground-based radars and optical telescopes, while it works well now, once you increase the number of spacecraft there, and once you increase the number of maneuverable spacecraft, they'll become very strained and won't be able to keep up with the dynamism of the space environment. So what we're developing are sensors, systems, software, and services, a lot of S's, for providing vision to space. Our first product is a hosted payload. That means it goes on our customer's spacecraft and allows them to be cognizant of their surroundings so that they can navigate relative to other spacecraft. So they can do things like proximity operations and docking maneuvers, but also things like collision avoidance, which is going to be increasingly important. And then we'll be taking those same payloads and putting them into our own spacecraft so that we can do orbit-wide monitoring of the traffic up there. So you can think of it like a network of space traffic cameras, making sure people are following the rules of the road and that people aren't trying to start wars. So that's what we're working towards, and we've hit a ton of amazing milestones thus far, including our first launch. We've put our first hardware in space back in June of 2021, and recently we've announced our first commercial customer, our first government customer, and a batch of software products that we've just released in the last week. So it's very exciting times for us. The Scout team is very efficient, let's say. The space industry notoriously has very long timelines and needs very large budgets to get things done. But for our first mission, we went from a computer drawing to hardware in space in less than 9 months with only 2 full-time people. Extremely efficient and really scrappy, and we've been able to accomplish an amazing amount of things with a minimal budget, let's say. So the next 12 months are super important for Scout and what we're developing. I mentioned we signed our first contract with a paying customer back in December. And so the immediate thing we're doing is making sure we can deliver for that customer. So that involves 2 flights to space on their spacecraft later this year. So being able to deliver those products is super important. In a broader sense, the other things we're working towards are, one, getting that Scout Vision system, which is the hosted payload that I mentioned, to a production readiness so that we can start making them in larger quantities instead of one at a time like we're currently doing. As well as, from a technical standpoint, we're preparing for our first Oversat mission. So Oversat is the first spacecraft that will be fully owned and operated by us, that will be able to do direct observation of other things in space. And so we're working to get that mission off the ground literally in early to mid 2023. So that's taking a lot of our technical focus, both for software and hardware and all sorts of different development angles that we have to prep for that one. On top of that, we're working to expand the number of contracts and the size of the contracts we have with the government. We've recently built our relationship up with the DoD and Space Force and Air Force specifically, and nurturing those relationships and making sure we can deliver products that they need to be able to keep us safe in space is important. Additionally, we're building up to our seed round fundraise in the next month or so. So gearing up to kick that off, and just in general, business development and technology development on all fronts. So Scout is located in Alexandria, Virginia, which is just outside of the Washington, D.C. area. We are currently primarily remote thanks to COVID, but are hoping to move into some formal facilities in the next few months, and hopefully when the pandemic cools down a bit. We're a very transparent and accessible team. Being remote, we're really trying to build up a sense of camaraderie and teamwork amongst everyone. So, we essentially have an open door policy, so anyone can schedule time with me to meet, anyone can Slack message me and all that stuff. And we work very collaboratively to get things done. Everybody is wearing different hats, but we're all working towards the same goal of making sure space is safe to operate in, and making sure that all the cool stuff that we saw in sci-fi books and movies when we were growing up can actually happen. And if we're the ones to pave the road to allow that to happen, that's what we're all working towards. And everyone is generally really excited to be doing this work. It's very impactful, and we're making tangible development every single day. Stuff is coming together so fast, and we're able to move so fast. It really keeps it exciting, keeps it dynamic, and we're always looking for more people to help fill the gaps we have and to help move this along a bit quicker. The Startup of the Year Summit was an amazing experience. I went down there originally with no intent to win the competition, mostly to network and to build up my contact list of investors that I probably wouldn't have had access to otherwise. It's funny, I actually scheduled an interview with a potential hire that was at the same time as the pitch finals for the competition. So that's where I was expecting to be and not in the finals. So I'm actually now meeting with that person tomorrow to follow up on that interview. But it was exciting. I mean, there were great speakers. There were amazing companies there. Other pitches were amazing. It was a great group and great set of programs, and exceeded my expectations significantly. And I think winning it has really put us in the right direction for 2022. We had built up so much momentum at the end of last year that we were concerned about how to, keep it going and how to make sure, the hype is continuing around all the awesome work we're doing, and weren't really sure how to best do that. And the competition is really positioned at a great time, and really allows us to capitalize on the value and validity other investors and people of the entrepreneurial community have put on us, and gives us an exciting achievement that we can talk to our current investors about and get them excited for. Our customers have reached out to us and congratulated us. And also for new investors we're talking to, it really gives them something tangible to say a lot of people believe in the work Scout is doing, and we should really take a closer look at it. So it's been incredibly exciting for us to be a winner of the competition, and we will certainly be back there in some form or fashion next year. So Scout is a small company and a young company. We're about 3 years old now, and we're growing. So I know that as of the time of this recording, we're hiring for several positions: computer vision engineers, guidance, navigation, and control engineers, business development specialists for both the government side and the commercial side, and people with amazing skills and talents. I know that I was coming out of college, I was a generalist, right? I was not specifically an expert in any area, so applying to jobs was kind of difficult for me because I didn't know where I fit. So I encourage you, if you are a rock star and you're a rock star, but you're not entirely sure where you might fit, but you have something you can contribute, we have a general application spot for that. But in general, even outside of jobs and hiring, the more people that know about us and can support our mission, the better we can do, and the more support we can gain, right? Like how many more people see a post on LinkedIn if someone else likes it? And so building that community around the work we're doing, social media and otherwise, hyping news stories, press releases, all that stuff is invaluable for a company trying to increase its reach. And I don't know if a space company will ever be a household name aside from like SpaceX, but building up to that would be pretty exciting.